Hey, it's Johnny Magic from Johnny's house.
Look, we've got you covered with the hits and what's going on in the city beautiful.
And Mark, he's got everything you need to know in the sports world, with maybe a touch of sarcasm.
This is the Beat of Sports with Marc Daniels.
Happy Friday and welcome to the Beat of Sport. Dive into another summer weekend. Chris Vasquez is on the other side of the glass. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Mark. How are you?
I want to thank you and really more your lovely wife, who was so kind, brought back a little bit of Colombian coffee here for me.
Yes, sir.
Very, very nice.
Enjoy it. I don't drink coffee, so but she thought of you guys.
No, it is coffee.
Not on air, Mark. Come on.
I think I just saw Bobby walking outside.
Yeah, he told me he's here.
Oh, okay. No, I just didn't know how he got in. Although, today it seems like anybody's walking past security today. So, but anyway, thank you for the coffee.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Enjoy it.
I really appreciate it. My wife will enjoy that a lot. So, anyway, family got back okay, and
yep, everyone's good.
Everyone's all good, huh?
We attempted to stay up for the U.S. match. I think I made it to 11:30, and I was.
My wife. It was the hydration break of the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm going to go up, shower, and go to bed and everything. I said, okay. And she goes, bring it home and get the U.S. to win. And I text her, of course, modern day technology. Yeah. I'm downstairs. She's upstairs. And I just text her. I go, Turkey scored in the final seconds. And all I hear is, no! Yeah. Yeah.
Did you laugh when you heard it?
Yeah. Like, she was upset. Yeah. Like, she's into this. Like, the U.S. scored early, and she had the quick fist pump and, locked in and everything.
Nice.
Yeah. I think the craziest part of last night was people seeing Fight Club in the booth and wondering, wait a minute, is Norton and Pitt really together, or is it just one person thinking that there are two people there? Oh, anyway. It was, again, the U.S. has advanced. That's the good thing. But 2-2, and Turkey scored literally in the final seconds of the match before the whistle's blown, and they win 3-2. They don't advance, but, it took a little bit of the luster away. But, all right, and the goal is to get to the round of 32, and now it's game on, beginning Wednesday. One and done. Got to win 5.
Yes.
So that's what lies ahead for the Americans. A little bit of a musical thing going on. Can you hear that?
Yeah, there's something going on in 409.
No, I mean, JR's got an event going, and it's cool. Got a lot of people roaming around here today and everything. We're going to talk Richard Hell, sports law expert, a little bit later. A few different things with Richard, including the whole Brendan Sorsby thing with the NFL. Richard's got a few thoughts on the legal side of this now new 5 years, 5 for 5 years to play 5 seasons in the NCAA, which now has led to dozens of lawsuits, and he's got some thoughts on that. And if you've ever collected cards and bought a box and opened a box, you may or may not know how big that's become, where people are buying slots in the box and paying, hoping that there's a special card. Another topic we'll get to at Richard is some people now believe that that's gambling or lottery and should be held to the same legal guidelines. And Richard will talk about that coming up also. Mike O'Donnell will look back at the NBA draft, get some thoughts on the draft from Mike and some of the trades of the NBA. We got all that stuff to get to, a week in review, and a whole bunch more. So stick around. Friday edition of the Beat of Sports is everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? 1 Forrest 1.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CB's dad joke of the day.
Oh, that's so great.
Mark, I'm so confident about this joke. I think even Mike Tuck would like it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
I got my mug, by the way. I got my sign. I'm set. What kind of seafood tastes good with peanut butter?
I I don't know, Chris. What kind of seafood tastes good with peanut butter?
Jellyfish. Peanut butter jelly.
You kind of felt like you're going to bring this stuff today. Like, here comes the heat, you know? Four-seam fastball at 99 outside edge of the zone for call strike 3, huh?
Peanut butter jellyfish.
Wow.
Hey, what's up? This is Pat Lynch.
And I'm talking about you're not rocking out with WJRR.
Lock it in here with Marc Daniels and the beat of sports.
Mets have fired Carlos Mendoza as their manager, third year, and 2 years of just above 500. But it's been a disastrous start for the Mets this year, so he's out.
Well, I mean, we saw how quickly the Phillies have turned it around under their interim manager.
I'm anyway. It's been done. Chris, when I was, I think I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I had moved from the baseball group, the Little League group that I was in. I moved because we moved as a family.
Mm-hmm.
So I was now not in that district. And unlike today where nobody cares, back then they wouldn't let you. So anyway, the new Little League charter opened up in this area, and they formed teams. And in the league, which, there's Little League, now I think it's Little League juniors, seniors. I don't even think there's Big League anymore, but, based on your age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing what's called Senior League. I think that was like 13, 14, maybe 15. Okay. And the league, again, relatively new. So we had only 4 teams, right? So I was the best player in the league, right?
Okay.
And then, let's say a few weeks into the season, there's a new player on another team, okay, who clearly was better than me. And I hated that kid.
Naturally.
No. I hated that kid because, 13, 14, we all have egos. Like, well, I'm the best player, but I knew that. And then he was better, not playing shortstop, but he was a better pitcher and he was a better hitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated that kid. Now, by the end of the summer, we were the best friends. Best of friends. And then he was part of the group of summer league teams that played with me, and we kicked everybody's ass. But here's my point. And I touched on this briefly with Kelly earlier. This Caitlin Clark story,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It's almost like the same thing, and follow me for a second. No one ever likes to be told someone better than you is coming. And then those people are right. And better doesn't even mean in talent and performance on the field. It just means they're going to grow your business.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to bring in fans that were never engaging in your business before. And it's going to introduce them to your product and have a chance to grow, and everyone's going to benefit from it. But you don't like it. Why? Because no one tells me. Listen, when LeBron James was the chosen one and came in, you knew that he was going to be good. But stars in the NBA didn't like to be told that this thing is going to become one of the greatest. No, that's not how it works, man. You got to come and you got to earn your thing here. Right? I mean, It's what we do.
Yep.
When Bryce Harper graduated high school a year early to go to a junior college to kind of rig the system to get to be eligible for the draft because he's on Sports Illustrated, which used to be a real publication back then, and he's the next star. Nobody liked that. No, that's not how you do it. You go to the minors, you ride the bus, you make no money, and you struggle, and we don't like you.
That's a clown question, bro.
Right. And I don't know if it's Caleb Williams or Joe Burrow, or just trying to think of number one picks that people wanted to anoint, and you're like, hang on, that's not how it works. And that's what I think sometimes the whole narrative is with Caitlin Clark. Again, you can get into it, like I said, with Kelly, about the politics, the sexual orientation, the social issues, the poster, which again, I only brought up Colin. He began his show with it. And she's not on the poster because of the licensing deal that she has where they cannot use her image and her likeness. And I'm guaranteeing there won't be an apology at the beginning of the show today. But I think sometimes people just don't like if they think, no, that's not how it works. You're the rookie. You're the new kid in the league. You got to earn your stripes. And then we'll decide when you're in the great category. And I think every time a story comes up about her, That's kind of the core of what it is. And like I said, I'm not the WNBA expert to engage in hardcore WNBA talk. Like I said, I can tell you the best players in the WNBA, where they play.
Mhm.
I can tell you that I enjoyed watching her. I don't go out of my way to watch games that she plays. So I'm not the WNBA expert. And many in the last couple of days from the male side that never watched WNBA became experts and so forth. But I think that's a lot of what this ends up becoming. She entered a league that had great players before her, but she has come into the league and elevated the economy of the WNBA, and it still rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And therefore, whether that's the reason for this, I don't know, but it's like that kid that came into my league and I hated him. And then I realized he's actually better than me. It's okay.
Well, a lot of the times we see kids that are, they're great in high school. Do they translate well to college? They're great in college, but do they translate to the next level? Because we in the media, we're always quick to anoint someone the next Michael Jordan, the next Tom Brady.
But I'm sorry to cut you off. I think what annoys people more in the WNBA about Caitlin Clark isn't the performance part of it. Because you can actually argue she's not the best player in the WNBA, but the attention, the endorsements, and the credit for the success is what bothers people more.
Mhm.
And it's like, what do you want her to do? Do you want her to say, hey, can you tone down the coverage? Can you not maybe give me credit? Like, I think that's more of it.
Yeah, she's right now. I mean, I'm sure her bank account's fine, but she's in a no-win situation right now.
No.
Like nothing she can do right now. And I don't know how long it's going to take for, I don't know if it's envy shown in a different way from the other WNBA players, but I don't know how long it's going to take for them to accept who Caitlin Clark is and
I don't know,
the attention
but
she's brought to the league.
But the non-traditional WNBA followers, okay? I mean, there are people that enjoy the product, follow it, cover it, engage in storylines. The non-group that flies in once in a while and then checks out. I mean, the outrage is so fake. It's just so fake, you know? This is about politics. This is about social issues. This is and like, come on, man.
It's the trendy thing to do.
I know, but again, it's more like we'll tell you when you're a star and famous. You don't get to tell us, and it's like, I'm sorry, you don't get to control that narrative. You don't get to tell LeBron, no, you gotta earn it. You got to go through the playoff grind, and you got to lose, and you got to, you don't get to be the young star that just arrives and all that stuff. It's just don't work that way. I'm like, well, you don't get to control that narrative.
And you kind of, especially if you're a fan of whatever team that the next rising star is, you don't want him to go through losing in the playoffs before he finally breaks through.
Yeah, Jackson Dart's not lost a playoff game yet. 10 o'clock hour, WYG. What was that? What are you laughing for?
Sorry.
Wait. You only get wait. You can only answer yes or no here. You can't say anything else.
Okay.
Has Dak Prescott lost a playoff game?
Yes.
Has Jackson Dart lost a playoff game?
No.
Thank you. 10 o'clock hour, WYG Orlando, WJR, HD2, Cocoa Beach. Has Jordan Love won a playoff game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Looks like someone's standing in the category alone over there, huh? Anyway, Bobby from Bowegans is here this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You were kind and allowed us to come to see the all-new look of Bowegans over there in Castleberry, and congrats, man. It looks awesome. I know you're excited, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've been talking about it for quite a while now.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it's finally, we're here. We're open, slinging beer, slinging food. I'm ecstatic.
So, I mean, we'll announce we're going to be out there 2 weeks from today.
Yep, July 10th.
And we're going to do our show out there, and your official grand opening is on the 11th, right? You're going to have a whole bunch of stuff planned for that and everything. But we're going to be excited to come out there on the 10th and have some fun with that. So we're looking forward to it. But I know it's been a long a process for you, but the kitchen looks great. The menu looks good, and you're fired up.
Oh yeah, and I'm happy to have you guys out there. We'll get you over to our neck of the woods and do the show over there. So
be nice.
I'm excited for that.
Be a lot of fun. Got some glasses today. Did you see that, Chris?
Yeah.
Got some special glassware.
I don't think we can show it on the.
Oh, too late. If you're in live stream.
What? It's just a letter.
Just a nice.
It could be the Ramapo Griffins of Spring Valley, New York, that I would have gone to high school had my family not moved to Florida. They have the same G. What are you talking about? Yeah. All right. What do we got today? What do we bring today?
So this beer here. Open that up.
That's a pretty good one.
There we go. That's a good one. So we have, it's a Belgian double called There's a Shortage of Chairs.
A Belgian double.
Yes, sir.
What makes one a Belgian double?
So it's obviously a Belgian style ale. This one's gonna have a little bit of a more amber color to it.
Okay.
It's gonna be, like I said, it's have caramelly, toasty, some really malty flavors to it, but still use that Belgian yeast.
Mhm.
So it's gonna have those spicy phenolics, peppery, almost kind of like baking spices, kind of built into the aromatics there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll take one of those glasses there.
Oh, I got you.
Oh yeah, you can take it. That's fine. That's fine with me.
How do you offend the guests that come into the studio?
I don't believe I'm offending the guest. So with the Belgian double, I know one of the key ingredients, or I guess a secret ingredient, dark candy sugar. Is dark candy sugar included in this beer?
Yeah, so with a lot of different Belgians,
sugar.
Yeah, we use
Now
it has
get
like
my
a high
attention.
proportion like sugar that we add into it.
Yeah.
Up with like 20% of the beer. That really helps with the body of it. It does thin it out a little bit, but bumps up that alcohol, and it also helps like with the head retention and like give you like a nice pillowy head to it. And so yeah, it also adds a little bit of flavor. So we did some Belgian dark candy sugar with this one. We also did a little special process we do in some of our beers. We want more of that complex malt flavor that we caramelize it a little bit more during the brewing process. So we did that, and it gives it this really kind of highly complex, developed malt character to it.
You said there's you get the spicy phenolic taste to it. What kind of spices did you add during the brew process?
So this one is that's all from the yeast. That's just byproducts of fermentation, and that's like specific Belgian style yeast. Gives it that complexity, that spices, those aromatics and stuff, which is really cool. Like Belgians are one of my favorite styles just for that reason.
So going back real quick to the dark candy sugar, if you didn't have that in the brew, could you still call it a Belgian double?
You still could. I mean, like I said, there's certain style guidelines, but also you know, as brewers, we're allowed to have that creativity to do what we want. But like generally with the Belgian styles, we like to add in some different kind of sugars in there, get that complexity. We obviously, you know, to make the beer, we turn the malt, you know, we get those starches, turn them into sugars themselves. This just adds different styles in there. You get different flavor components.
Does the brewing process take a similar amount of time compared to like a double IPA or an IPA or a pale ale, anything like that?
Yeah, generally on this one, you know, 2 to 3 weeks or so, and it has like the fermentation. It's an ale, so that means it has that ale yeast with it. So about 2 to 3 weeks. General time frame is about the same, but we really mess with obviously the content of what's going in the beer, and then that fermentation temperature too. We kind of let it free rise, which what I mean when I say that is normal ales, we're going to keep in that temperature range, maybe in the mid to the high 60s, so 65 to 68 degrees. This one we kind of let ride. We start low and then let it go high into the 70s. That really helps bring out a lot of those fruitier esters, complexity, and stuff in the yeast.
What kind of fruitiness are we going to taste with this?
So on this one, I mean, I get almost like a cherry kind of like sweetness off of there. A nice to kind of balance that out. There's like a soft toast, some bready, just complex sugary notes to it as well.
What would pair well with this on the menu at Bowigan's?
Ooh, so this is a tricky one since it's so complex of a beer. I mean, it does work standing alone. But I would say if we're gonna go, I mean, the spent grain pretzels that we have. So a local company, Old Hearth, makes their spent grain pretzels. They make it with the grain that we use. So it really has that bready, toasty notes built in. When we bake that, get a little caramelization, I think would go perfect with this.
For those that are going to come, I mean, I'll plan what Chris just said. What else would you recommend a good pairing right now? What food item and what beer with the summer here?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of different styles. We got a lot of flatbread sandwiches and some different stuff coming out of the kitchen now. So one of my favorite runs right now, we're doing a lot of pickles in house. We're making 407 pickle, and we're gonna use that for a lot of different dishes. So we have a dill pickle flatbread made with the 407 pickles. obviously that it goes phenomenally well with the 407 Pilsner. Also our 1967 IPA really balances out that cream there. So that's kind of my top pairing right now. But that, or we also have a mushroom goat cheese flatbread that's been also one of the top, seems to be one of the favorites of the past week. I would say that one with our Avalon Park Amber or Hollow Note is a great pairing.
I've had people ask, are you going to have vegan or vegetarian options available?
Yes, we're working on it. We do have vegetarian options. Working on getting some vegan options as well. So we're going to change a couple of the options to sub out some of the dishes. Try to take care of everybody there. We're just getting the kitchen rolling now in the soft opening, but yeah, we'll have options for everybody.
Nice.
You heard Chris gave your franchise some money to keep players and sign free agents by buying tickets.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's
I bought my ticket. I bought my ticket.
As an owner, I appreciate that and your support throughout the years, Chris.
Yeah.
He said that so you're going it's you and another couple.
Yes.
And you have seats in the same row.
Yes.
But like 4 or 5 seats apart.
Yeah. So what we did, just because buying 3 tickets is like impossible. At least it's more expensive. So I bought my ticket, they bought their tickets, and we tried to do it at the same time so it could be in the same area because we saw like 4 tickets you could buy.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought if we did it at the same time that they would sit us together. But I mean, we're 5, 6 seats apart. It's fine.
Right.
What section? Where are you sitting?
131, row 46.
So then he said, I'll ask the people.
Yeah, they just scoot down.
Scoot down. I go, it's not Southwest where hey, can I take the middle or the window, dude?
I mean, they're good people up there too. They probably will. But then again, you're probably gonna be
where's
like
cowboy merchandise? No one's helping
I was
you.
gonna change that depending on who else you're going with.
No one's helping you.
All Cowboys fans. But I will say,
oh yeah, your guy help.
Green Bay and Buffalo fans are some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Good people.
Very nice. Very nice.
I think people might believe the first line. I don't know about the second line when they think of Bill's Mafia, but I'm sure.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with going through a table.
Look, the overwhelming majority of fans act normal. It's it's a small minority. They're idiots. Anyway, let's bring it back here. What else you got coming up? And I mean, what do you want to share about July 11th with the grand opening and anything else happening?
Yeah, so I mean, that's been the biggest, this exciting thing we have going on right now is the tap room is now open. So if you haven't seen it, please swing by, check us out. We got the full kitchen there rolling now. July 11th, we're just going to have a big celebration. We got a lot of new beers coming out. We're going to have some live music and have like some special stuff. We're going to be dropping some hints here coming up. So stay tuned for that. Check that out. Lots of new beers coming up. July 4th, we do have our Bomb Pop release, which is our annual sour we do with cherry, lime, and raspberry sour coming out. That's one of our favorite ones we do each year. So
fantastic for the
that's
summer.
Dropping a lot of new beers coming out. We've been busy in the brew house, busy in the kitchen. Just swing by.
And for those that don't know where the Casper location is, tell them about that and promote Avalon Park and everything.
Yeah, so 2 locations in Central Florida, one in Castleberry, the corner of Redbug and 436. And we also have a tap room in Avalon Park at the marketplace at Avalon Park. If you want to check us out online, it's bowegans.com, BOWIGENS.com, and at the social medias at Bo Wiegans Beer Company.
Thank you, brother. Great week.
I appreciate it.
Back with Richard L. Sports Law segment next.
Time now for this week's Sports Law segment with Richard Hale.
Talk sports and law with Richard Hale. Hale and Jacobson, the firm. I'm at hhjlegal.com. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We've spent weeks and months looking at the Brendan Sorsby case on many different angles, and our latest is a decision by the National Football League with a pretty strong letter to Brendan Sorsby, and maybe the adults in the room said, here's our position on it. But I'm curious your thoughts on what the NFL's letter says and what Jeffrey Kessler, who's fought the NFL and the NFLPA before, does legally if he does have any angles. So your thoughts?
Yeah, certainly there's a legal angle to pursue here. I'm not sure it's going to be advisable at this point. You know, at some point, Brendan Sorsby has racked up a ton of legal fees, and whether or not he's going to continue to be able to go down this path remains to be seen. As you pointed out, Kessler, who made the arguments, the original arguments in the case against the NCAA and found favor with the judge here, would have to decide if they're going to go back and try to challenge the NFL here. A little bit different situation in that, you know, NFL players collectively bargain for these opportunities, especially being a part of the supplemental draft, and you're not in a situation here where you have any leverage, right? Sorsby at this point is really just throwing himself at the mercy of the NFL. The NFL taking the stance that they did and not allowing him, which they have every right to do. It would be an odd challenge for sure. It's likely a challenge that would need to be brought through the NFL's arbitration process. So it wouldn't be in open court. I think that favors the NFL. More likely than not, they go back, they lick their wounds, and Sorsby works out to try again next year in the regular draft. We will say this: I think that, you know, in reading the letter, it is a bit hypocritical of the NFL to take this kind of stance. I mean, we've certainly seen bad actors in the NFL that have rehabilitated, come back. So this kid, obviously he has a problem. We've already identified that. By all accounts, he's working to deal with that issue. So I don't know that we needed to pour salt in the wound here, but the NFL certainly took a very harsh approach with this. Is it a deterrent for others who find themselves in Sorsby's situation? Does it have a chilling effect on college students who are out there gambling on not only their own sport, but possibly their own team? That remains to be seen.
I said on what would that be, Wednesday's show, that in some ways I think the NFL is suspending him for a year, but also giving him the best opportunity to be drafted in 27 without a penalty. I mean, what they did here blocks him from playing in 26, but says, look, you're free to enter the draft in 27, and whoever chooses to consider you can know that you're not going to face any penalty in 27 and miss any games. And, it's not what the league is saying, but in many ways they are saying that you're not playing here for a year. We'll see you in 27.
Yeah, I can appreciate that approach. I think that it does two things. Number one, it gives him the chance to show that he's serious about rehabilitation. And if he continues on this path forward and continues to, go through the 12-step program and address his gambling addiction, now we have more of a track record, at least from the NFL's perspective. We did see that their letter commented on the timing of all this and not necessarily giving the NFL time to consider. So this certainly, solves that problem and accomplishes that goal. And at the same time, yes, I think an NFL team could look at it and say, hey, we're going to take a chance on this kid. And it does not appear as though he's going to face any additional backlash, any additional punishment for what he's gone through. And so we can take him in good faith that he's going to be able to show up on day one and compete for a starting job.
Okay, here we go. The NCAA votes 5 for 5 years of eligibility over 5 years. It's interesting when the eligibility starts and when you're 19, all that stuff. But already we got a ton of lawsuits. We got, I guess now it's up to a couple hundred people have joined multiple lawsuits for those that will not get to benefit from this, meaning their eligibility is finished up this year and will not get that extra year. Any thoughts on the legal road here for some people?
Yeah, it's certainly going to open the floodgates, right? I think we could anticipate that when the NCAA was contemplating this ruling. I know probably the most famous case so far has been the Pavia case, and you and I could touch on that in a minute. But I think what we're looking at here is the situation where NCAA has opened the floodgates. We're going to see multiple lawsuits. We already have, of note is this situation that maybe some of these guys found themselves in this week. Some of the players who maybe were on the fringe of the second round going into the NBA draft, and do they stick around for that one more year to continue to evolve, to continue to get better, to benefit from college coaching and their college programs, or do they enter the draft? Certainly, it would have been nice for those guys to have that option and to know kind of where the court stood prior to the draft. Would have made their decision much easier, I'm sure, but they didn't have the benefit of that. So at this point, we're going to likely see lawsuits that address that, very specific issue, and we'll wait and see how these unfold. I can't imagine at this point that those guys aren't eligible and don't receive that fifth year. And then what happens, right? Do they go back and they enter the portal and switch schools? Do they go and seek a fifth year at the school they're at, try to compete to win a championship? Or we'll wait and see how that unfolds.
Locally, Dean Miller's a football player that played at Kansas and is trying to transfer to UCF. He has a deal pending his ability to be eligible, but he's got to sue because he's been denied, and UCF had appealed and he was denied. He's seeking a year of junior college to not count. In the Diego Pavia case, Richard, if I remember, the judge only ruled for Pavia. He didn't rule for anybody else that had played JUCO that said, hey, those years shouldn't count. So maybe that comes into play here, but thoughts on what this particular case is?
Yeah, I think more than anything, we can look at the Pavia case just as kind of a poll star, just to kind of guide our way here and where the judge may render a decision. Does this have broad sweeping implications? I'm not sure that it does. Certainly it's relevant here and, locally. This case was filed in the Ninth Circuit. It's pending in Orange County. You can go online and look it up and check out the pleadings. But, more importantly here, this is a position of need, obviously, for UCF, edge rusher. And I think we saw that last year, and then there's some holes to fill there. So this decision by this judge becomes even more relevant because it is a position of need, and UCF could really use the help. So we're going to keep our eye on this. I don't think it has the broad sweeping implications that you implied in the question, but I would say that this has a lot of relevance for UCF and its fan base.
This next story is interesting. I understand a little bit of the card collecting world. I do know what breaking is and what the slots are when it comes to opening up a sealed box. It's a really interesting case where I guess someone's trying to challenge, hey, this isn't just fun collectible stuff. Is it gambling or even a lottery? And the more I read this, it did take me to a different side of thinking about it. Your thoughts on this legal case here of, if I open up a box of cards, am I gambling?
Yeah, so to give everyone a lay of the land, this is something that became probably more popular during COVID when people were trying to engage online because we couldn't necessarily be face-to-face. And so person would go out, they would buy a box of unopened cards and they would sell slots. And so your slot may be packs 1 through 4. My slot may be packs 6 through 8 and whatever. And you sell slots and then you open the cards online, and whoever's engaged in the transaction for the slot can watch you do it. And that became fun, and it became a way to engage during a time when that necessarily wasn't something that was happening. So yes, you're exactly right. There's come along a lawsuit now that suggests that selling slots and then opening the cards is a form of gambling because you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. You may know what card you're shooting for. Maybe you want the Michael Jordan rookie card or whatever happens to be in that box, but at the same time, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. So is that a form of gambling? And is then there some requirements that the person who buys the original box needs to register as some type of an entity that's going to allow some type of online gambling? all of that comes into play. I'm with you. I'm not super familiar with the concept, but the more that I read about it, certainly if it walks like a duck, right, we know how that ends. So there are some similarities here, I think, between taking a chance and gambling. Let's call it a lottery, if you will. And certainly, anyone running a lottery would need to be registered by the State Gaming Commission. So we'll see how this one develops. Again, you have the weird mix here between state law and federal law, and where the marriage is, because this is generally online. So we need to look at that angle too. It's quite complicated, but interesting nonetheless.
Ken, I am with the most important story of the week. And Chris, you may want to pay attention here. We have 4 individuals that are leading a class action lawsuit against McDonald's, questioning their marketing of the McRib. That it's not the type of meat that's promoted. My thought is, if you're going to McDonald's to purchase a McRib, you've got to be kidding me if you think you're buying elite meat here. Why do we do these things in court, Richard?
Mark, you and I have talked about this before. There's the ability to file a lawsuit, which most lawyers, or all lawyers generally have. And then there's the decision to actually file it. And I think we have to be really careful. Generally the courts have found in favor of McDonald's here or like entities, because as consumers, buyer beware, right? It is a tale as old as time. You got to know before you buy something what you're getting yourself into. And if you don't know enough to question whether or not there's actual ribs in the McRib, I'm not sure where we found ourselves as a society. But that being said, most of these go the ways of the big corporations. We'll see how this one shakes out.
I've never asked the fisherman, "Hey, would you catch?" And he goes, "Fillet of fish today." So I think I understand when I go in. Richard, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Mark.
Richard Hales, our sports law expert. Mike O'Donnell's our basketball expert. He joins us next.
This is Step Back 3 with MOD. Straightaway 3, it's it. Let's talk college hoops. Let's talk hoops with college basketball analyst Mike O'Donnell.
Lot to get to with Mike O'Donnell. We talk basketball on these Fridays. NBA draft was Tuesday and Wednesday, and lots of other NBA news. And there's always basketball news that's out there. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Mr. Daniels, man, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Are you a big fireworks guy?
I wouldn't say big. I said, but I love July 4th fireworks. I think it's great. I have no issues.
You're not buying fireworks over the kids, are you?
No, we participate in the watching of fireworks all in, but we're not like, I don't have like tents that I go like, oh, there's a tent just open up on 50. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I have not, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. Chris was shocked to learn that I don't buy fireworks. So
there's nothing wrong with buying fireworks.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate those who do. But I don't buy the fireworks, I'll pitch in. Like if you're like, hey, we're having a big neighborhood thing with everybody, I'll pitch in all day. Yeah. But I'm not going out and buying fireworks.
One of my best stories is, and you know how odd I am. I just, this is a few years ago. I just went to one of those tents, like outside of Target, just to be an idiot. Right. So I go in and the guy working the tent's like, you're looking for anything special. And I'm like, I don't even know how to answer that question. And I'm like, no, just looking around. And then he looks left and right to make sure no one's listening. And goes, hey, I got the good stuff in the back.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
that's the right spot. That's the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff in the back. What's back there, man? Are you kidding me?
We have a guy. We have a guy on our street. And when we do our big 4th of July thing, we won't be there this time, but in the last couple of years, he's like, hey man, he's like, we're going to get your fireworks. I was like, I wasn't going to get any fireworks. I was going to participate in the watching. He goes, well, if you need a guy, I got a guy.
Yeah, he's got a guy.
You got a fireworks guy.
Yeah. I don't have a fireworks guy, but he's got a guy.
And that night, we, everybody's lighting off fireworks, and he hands me, a Roman candle. And he goes, hey, aim it right at that tree over there. About 2. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to do that. He goes, you don't like fun, man?
Yeah.
I go, I don't want to burn someone's house down.
Yeah.
But I could shoot him up in the sky. He goes, man, you don't remember I don't even know who you are anymore. I said, I don't even know your last name, man.
Right.
I mean, like, what are you talking about?
Wow. Let's pivot to the draft. Was there anything in the early stages of the draft that caught your attention? I think a lot of things went as planned. Maybe Mikael Brown locally here going to the Nets at 6, but what stood out to you in the draft on Tuesday?
By the way, I used to play pickup with Mikael Brown. Yeah.
Oh.
Him at UC. Yeah, first time I played against him, he goes, man, hey, you ever think about playing anywhere? I go, well, used to back in the day.
Right.
Just let you know. But anyways, I thought that Acuff it was surprising that Acuff didn't go 5 or 6. Not that I didn't think that the Clippers were going to pick Wagler. I think I was surprised that the Nets, if they were going the point guard route, passed up on Darius Acuff. That was number 1. Number 2, I think everybody was a little bit surprised that Morris Johnson went that early. Nobody was surprised that he went in the lottery. I think everybody was surprised that he did go inside the top 10. Little bit NBA draft kind of sicko thing. I'm a little bit surprised that the Bucks kept their 10 and 13 pick. I kind of had a few conversations with you folks that there were some assumptions that they were going to package those 2 to move up to get someone in that top, 6, top 7 for them to kind of put the reset button. But other than that, no, nothing absolutely too crazy. Your Knicks just trade back, trying to get cash. But that was, to me, I was surprised that the Bucks didn't package anything. If they were going to hit the full reset button, there were players inside the top 7 that would have been worth, packaging those 2 picks and hitting the reset button and building around, one of those guys. But that was kind of the biggest surprising thing.
By the way, because OKC takes Bennett Sturts, does that make it a great pick? Is it Sam Presti?
Oh my gosh. Well, Oh, you want to talk about getting Mora and Bennett Sturts, the Thunder.
I think we just lost Mike. Try him again.
I'll call him back.
All right. And we'll get Mike back on. Bennett Sturts, who played at Iowa and played at Drake before going to Iowa, and people kind of wonder, well, is this game going to translate? And then OKC takes him, and you're kind of like, well, and I guess that makes it smart because it's Sam Presti, but he's not a great defensive guy. But, okay, Mike's back. I was just commenting. Yeah. People say he's not a great defensive guy. Yeah, he's going to play with 4 guys that are all defensive worthy around him in OKC. And I think a lot of teams deal with, okay, he's not good at this, but he's great at that. But anyway, go on with Sturts.
Here's what I can't stand about the conversation about Sturts. I mean, I really can't stand it. They're like, oh, he doesn't play. He's not that good of a defender. Well, on Iowa, he was double teamed every single possession, number one. And number two, he was essentially playing 39 minutes a game, truly. And when you play 39 minutes a game, you can't be an elite defender. You can't. So that was a thing that was sacrificed for Bennett Sturts in Iowa and Ben McCollum. He's going to be fine. He's going to be someone who is not going to be hunted so aggressively as I think people think. And OKC crushed it again, Mark. This is absolutely I don't know how they're going to play everybody. I mean, it's pretty incredible because not only did they get Sturts, who was maybe my second or third favorite player in the draft, but they got Mora, the best rim protector in the draft, and the best passing center in the draft. And Mark, that's the rich get richer right there, man. Very impressive.
A lot of people then became experts, in the second round, which I always find funny. But do you want to share some thoughts on Isaiah Nelson from South Florida? Played at Arkansas State for 3 years, was the conference player, defensive player, and a newcomer of the year. Some thoughts on what the Magic are getting in Isaiah Nelson.
Yeah, tough, physical, smart. Very much one of those guys that he's not Yaxel Lendeborg. I'm just, in terms of story, a guy who kind of continued to get better over the course of his career, was under-recruited, and slowly started to build into becoming the player that he is. He has a mismatch problem. He plays exceptionally hard. I think he's got great positional versatility. He was good all season, Mark. At South Florida all season. And South Florida was a team that did fly just kind of under the radar, that it was even in conversations for a potential at-large pick. They weren't going to get it, but they were in the conversation for it. And then a lot of that had to do with Nelson. He's going to be a guy that's going to step in and compete for, he's got to compete for a contract if you're getting an absolute high IQ workhorse of a guy.
Hey, one guy that didn't get drafted that I kind of wished either the Magic or Knicks would have got. Toby Awaka is going to the Bulls. He didn't get drafted, but man, I don't know. I think that guy's got a place in the NBA. Come off the bench and grab rebounds.
Just so much Ben Wallace in his game, right? Is that he's and also he is like a 4.0 student too. He is crazy smart. Yeah. Like legit, his IQ off the court, not just on the court, is like off the charts. And he is going to interview really well. He's going to be a great teammate. He'll find a roster there for sure. I think a guy that there was a guard that didn't get drafted in the second round that I think people are going to make a mistake on. That's Nick Boyd, point guard out of Wisconsin, who averaged 20 a game and shot close to 37% from three. He may have been the best one of the best scoring point guards in this draft class, and maybe the 5th or 6th best scoring point guard in this draft class. And him going undrafted, I think someone's going to pick him up.
Golden State did.
They ended up picking him up?
Yeah.
Okay.
He signed the what's called the
he didn't get
Exhibit 10
picked in the second round.
Correct.
Yeah, got the Exhibit 10 there. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to be just a perfect fit. I will say, just second round conversation. Like, everybody has a guy that they believe in, because every year there's going to be a second rounder that's going to maybe end up being an all-star or close to an all-star. And for me, Mark, this guy well. I think that's Richie Saunders. And I think that fit with the Denver Nuggets is absolutely perfect. I think he's going to become a a very good 3-point shooting version of Alex Caruso, he'll be in the league for a decade. And as long as everything gets cleared with his ACL and his knee, Mark, I think Denver got really good there. Yeah.
Great shooter. He has to wear the headband, and at some point they need to stop with the tater tot story because I've heard it 8 million times, but that's okay.
But you have, but we're going to hear it again once he gets to the league. That's a good fit for Denver, though, for him.
What's good and what's annoying about LaMelo Ball if he's on your team? Because clearly Charlotte felt like, look, it was good second half of the season, but we're going to move on from this. And, Minnesota clearly thinks that they needed to pivot and pair him with Anthony Edwards, which is interesting of two guys that, want the ball late in the game. And while you can like some things about LaMelo Ball, there's also things you're like, that's annoying.
Well, there is a lot to like about LaMelo Ball in terms of production. He is going to score. He's a really good passer. He's a great ball handler. Not a great defender. There's going to be some issues there. He definitely lacks strength and physicality. But LaMelo Ball, when you're playing, here's the best. He's going to go for the highlight play no matter what. No matter what. Whether it's at the beginning of the game, the middle of the game, the end of the game. And that can get frustrating when you need LaMelo Ball just to make the right play. I think he's really smart, and he's very, just in terms of his intelligence of what he sees, but he is going for the Instagram highlight reel play every third play. And I'm not the biggest. I think there's all that. I like no-look passes. I like some flair. I really do. I think it's good for the game when you can make a no-look pass, a behind-the-back pass, or something that we've never seen before. I love that, but not at the expense of winning. And I think there are concerns there that the highlight play is prioritized over the winning play when it comes to LaMelo Ball.
Let me tap college quickly.
By the way, can I just say, it's not. I know it's not exciting radio to talk about, but the Charlotte Hornets have drafted really well in these last 2 years. I mean, really even last 3 years.
And stockpiled a lot of picks, too, for years to come.
Yeah, I think they've drafted exceptionally well. And when they drafted Christian Anderson, the point guard at Texas Tech, everybody's like, well, why are they getting him? They've got enough shooting guards, point guards that can shoot,
now you know why.
Guards that can shoot.
Yeah.
And now we know why. Yeah.
I like the really a healthy Christian Anderson can be really, really good. He's not afraid to get to the basket. Let me pivot to college. The new rule that's going to go into play, it's a little bit confusing, but the 5-year rule and when it starts. But your thoughts, the impact that it's going to have on college basketball?
I like the redshirt rule. And I think there's a lot of value there that I believe goes unnoticed. The opportunity for a medical red shirt, using the red shirt as kind of a transfer rule backstop. I've always liked it. Now we're just saying, hey, you get 5 years to figure it out. If you get hurt for a year, don't worry. You still have, a couple more years left. And it's I don't know how it's going to go, Mark. I honestly have not sat down and read everything and every piece on it. But I will tell you that this was the NCAA saying, we're putting to me, it was more about the age of the 19 years old of when the clock starts. And then you got 5 years for 5 years of eligibility. I think, initially I was like, well, we have to put an asterisk on, moving forward if any scoring record gets broken, because if a player does stay at a school for 5 years, if a good player does stay at school for 5 years, well, that's not fair to everybody else who did it in 4 years. But I don't know if there's ever going to be a player who stays at school for 5 years. Academically, I can understand the reasons for it. I really can. I do think it makes sense there, but I still have to dive more into it, Mark. This feels like it was just something the NCAA had to do.
One thing I wish the sport would do, and I don't think it's that difficult, define a pro league and make it clear that if player signs contract in this league, they lose eligibility. I mean, the difference of third division.
So why do you think they can't do that?
Because they're afraid of lawsuits.
But what would the lawsuit be?
we'll take it to court. But to me, there's a clear a difference of a third level European league that is the equivalent of, private school basketball and high school in America versus so-and-so signed for $400,000 to play at a second-tier pro league. That's a pro contract. It's a pro contract. And you should lose your eligibility in college. And I don't think it's that difficult because the way FIBA now sets up the contract system, it's not that hard to determine that's a pro league. And once you sign there, you lose your college eligibility. It's not that hard.
But to be honest with you, I think FIBA would be happy about that.
Yes.
Because then they're going to be able to keep their players.
Yes.
And FIBA is not happy about all of the top talent leaving FIBA and going over to the States because of how much money you can make over here. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be more of a push for that in the years. But you're right. Until there's some kind of antitrust exemption, they're not going to do it. But you're right. If you could label certain leagues pro leagues, and you get the right individuals in there to kind of vet that information appropriately, man, that would really save a whole bunch of the chaos.
We end with a series of questions. You can only pick one or the other. Ready?
Oh, boy. I'm ready.
Well, we're off next Friday, so this is the last time we'll talk before 4th of July. You only get one, steak or chicken off the grill?
Steak.
You can only pick one, hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
You only get one topping on the hamburger. What do you choose?
Cheese.
Coleslaw or macaroni salad?
Neither.
Got to pick one.
Macaroni salad.
Baked beans or potato chips?
Oh, potato chips.
Cake or ice cream?
Oh, blast it all. Ice cream.
The pre-barbecue snack, chips or pretzels?
Oh, chips.
Watermelon or mixed fruit?
Watermelon.
Fireworks starting at 8:30 or 9:30?
8:30. You're in bed earlier.
The older you get, you want the earlier fireworks. Like, I'm
That's
okay
right.
at 3 o'clock
That's
in the afternoon.
Let them go, right? Let them go. Let them fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. We'll appreciate it,
buddy.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Thank you, man. Mike O'Donnell talking basketball with us. So World Cup update is next. All right, yesterday in the World Cup, the Americans do not go undefeated in group play. They lost 3-2. Turkey scored in the 98th minute, truly with seconds to go before the whistle. They beat the Americans 3-2. Again, the U.S. had won their group. They do advance. They'll take on Bosnia-Herzegovina next Wednesday in Santa Clara. Turkey does not advance despite the win. Other matches yesterday as group play winds down. Ivory Coast beat Curacao 2-0. Our coverage brought to you by Fitter's Green Irish Pub. It was Ecuador getting a late goal to beat Germany 2-1. Japan and Sweden tied at 1. The Netherlands beat Tunisia by a score 3-1. Paraguay and Australia played to a scoreless draw. More final day of group play action. Norway, France, Senegal, Iraq, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay, and Spain. Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand and Belgium, the schedule of the World Cup today. Our coverage is brought to you by our friends at Fitter's Green Irish Pub, 544 West Fairbanks in Winter Park. It's Fitter's Green Irish Pub.
Let's really do the news.
Yes.
Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
11 o'clock hour, WYJ Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Last night, the Americans did lose late, 98th minute to Turkey, got a goal, and the Americans fall 3-2. They did win their group. Last night's loss does not change that. Bosnia-Herzegovina, who they'll play next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time at the stadium where the Niners play, which is not in San Francisco, but that's where they'll play. If the Americans win there in the round of 32, then their round of 16 match would be in Seattle. And if they win, then their quarterfinal match would be in Los Angeles. You see a theme here to where the U.S. is playing? Yeah. Group play wraps up today in the World Cup before we get set for the round of 32. But the Americans did indeed advance. Elsewhere in the world of sports, yesterday the Rays 2 outs away of a no-hitter, but gave up a home run and won 13-2. Junior Caminero had 3 home runs. He's really good for the Rays. He's really, really good. Let's see. Major League Baseball. Well, the owners made a proposal to the players. That didn't go well. Not shocking. By the way, the Major League Baseball Players Association is asking that all baseball props be banned. Yeah. Yeah. And that's going to go over as well as the players think of a salary cap. Chris, this is interesting. They're asking for a ban on the props because they'll tell you that, hey, you want guys to not think about pitches that they can, okay. But in the proposal that they've asked, they still want players to be able to endorse gambling companies and prediction markets. So
gambling is one thing. I think prediction markets are starting to get real. You're touching a line there.
A topic for another day. It's the same thing. I mean, you can try to say it's not gambling, but it is. Don't worry about it. All-star balloting. I miss the old days. In Major League Baseball, you got a ballot. Long before we had hanging chads to determine a state in the presidential election, you had a hanging chad and an all-star ballot. You know, when my mom would go food shopping or my dad would bring home, whoever was a sponsor, like Gillette Razors or somebody, had the all-star ballot. Took that serious, man. I sat down, my brother, felt like it was an American responsibility. You know, then you drop that ballot into the box of the grocery store and, you know, where you imagine some angry divorced dad threw the ballot out. But at least I thought it was going to the Major League Baseball office to count towards who was going to start in the All-Star game. And if I got 6 or 7 right, are you kidding me? Yeah. Anyway, Ernie Clement is the second baseman for the Blue Jays. He was the top vote getter in the American League, and that ticks people off because now they want to change. Well, wait a minute now. You can't have him. Shohei Ohtani, top vote getter in the National League.
I'm shocked.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. NHL draft is tonight. Hopefully Shams is working that as well. Maybe Adam Schefter could break a story or two during the NHL draft tonight. Gavin McKenna from Penn State is a consensus number 1 pick in the draft. That's what's happening in the world of sports. We come back, the weekend review with some studs and duds next.
Missed anything during the week?
What?
We've got you covered.
Yeah! Here we go!
Let's take a look back at the week that was. It's the Beat of Sports Week in Review with Marc Daniels.
All right, time to look back to the week that was on the program. On Monday, the news breaks that Dusty May was leaving the national champion Michigan Wolverines to become head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, and we chatted about it. Maybe Dusty May is like, I won a national championship. The bar now is set at Michigan that we're supposed to contend every single year, and while they probably would give me the resources to do it, this isn't fun anymore. I don't just coach basketball. I've got to go through this every year of building a roster, and even though they're going to give me a ton of money, I got to go play this game every year, and I got to go beg players to come play for me, and I got to deal with what I'm dealing with on the money aspect, and maybe I don't want to do this. And here's the NBA where I can get paid a ton of money. I can coach basketball. It's 82 games, but I'm not doing this. I'm not recruiting every single day. I'm not legally, illegally tampering all year long. I got to find out who's having a good December, January, that I got to go find out if that guy. Maybe that's what now has trickled down to not guys in their 60s and 70s, guys in their 30s or 40s that are so turned off by what the current business model is that I'll go to the NBA. Yeah, and I think, Chris, here we are 4 days later from that, and I don't know any other reason why Dusty May would leave. That he just felt like, hey, won the title, expectations are high, but I'm not having fun. I'm out.
I mean, there could always be something that comes out later that, I don't know, there's illegal tampering or some kind of scandal that's been covered up until he made the jump. I don't know. But, I mean, I would agree with that first statement that you made. Like, I mean, it's become such a hassle in college, not just college basketball, but college athletics, where the entitlement is growing with these athletes that if you don't offer the most money, they're going to go somewhere else. And then, again, tampering. I mean, coaches or agents are being called and coaches are getting called, and it's just annoying.
Tuesday, more basketball was the day of the draft that night. BJ Taylor, the college basketball analyst, joined us, and I asked him about A.J. DeBonsta and Darren Peterson.
A.J. DeBonsta out of BYU. I've been on this train since about mid-January, and I'm not hopping off, all right? It's not even a real discussion for me. It's not even a back and forth. I understand what people see in Darren Peterson in terms of his skill set, his ability to create shots for himself. He's the best, quote-unquote, shot maker in this draft. But the intangibles matter to me, okay? The questions surrounding what happened with him at Kansas this season in terms of the injuries, in terms of the cramping, in terms of the big game they had against Arizona, and he doesn't play because he has the flu. He comes out after the draft and he decides that, hey, I'm only gonna meet with the Washington Wizards because they're the number one pick in the draft, and that's the only team I want to go to. Well, my man, you have a chance to go anywhere in the top three, and I mean, A.J. DeBonsta met with both the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz. There are a lot of things about Darren Peterson that I don't question on the court, but I do question some of these off-the-court antics. And I've never been someone to believe that these things are going to change once you start paying said player more money. So if these things are happening prior to him getting to the league, can you imagine what he'll be like with a Trae Young 4-year, $200 million type of deal? He's going to be uncontrollable. So I'm going with A.J. DeBonsta because I believe in his size, his ability to create shots for himself. He's a nice 6'8", 6'9" wing, led the country in scoring. He's produced, and he seems like he has that mentality that he wants to be great.
Yeah, time will tell if we continue to compare these two guys or others from this draft, which is thought to be somewhat of a generational type draft. And again, maybe Darren Peterson ends up being the better scorer. Maybe A.J. DeBonsta's development is hindered a bit by playing with Trae Young. Maybe Trae Young adjusts. Maybe Anthony Davis wants to play and some other young pieces. So we'll see.
I still wonder if Darren Peterson hurt himself by playing this past year at Kansas with, I mean, BJ mentioned it, the cramping, the antics. It's just, he got paid. I get he had to go somewhere for 1 year before he can go to the NBA, but he did not do himself any favors.
And despite that, was the number 2 pick of the draft.
Could have been number 1.
I think he's going to be a really good scorer. Whether he's going to be a better player long term than A.J. DeBonsta, we'll find out. Patrick Crates, the longtime sports TV executive for many years, worked at Fox, shared his thoughts about the success of viewership for the World Cup.
Well, it's been fantastic. And, I think, Eric Shanks and the rest of the senior management team, or all my good friends, are doing cartwheels down Pico Boulevard, as they should. We always knew that this, look, it's in the United States. It's got the proper time zone because of that. And it's in Mexico and Canada. We always knew it was going to be big from a revenue perspective and from a viewing perspective. All the changes that we've talked about in the past to methodological measurement of viewing has benefited out-of-home viewing and expanded the sample in a way that has also provided a tailwind to the viewing. These are always viewers that were always there, right? They just weren't measured, Mark. So it's legit, but this is the first World Cup. Comps to the last one, didn't have any of that. So the viewing from a marketplace perspective shows the importance of sports and why, we talked a little earlier about things that are valued, why these things are undervalued. It's one of the few things everybody watches together. They have to watch it immediately.
I may be wrong. I'm going to go 16 to 17 million last night. This is the 10 o'clock start. I'm going to say that next Wednesday's round of 32 game does 21 to 22 million.
I can see that.
It's a perfect time. It's 8 o'clock Eastern. I think the loss last night, people will move on from that. You'll get hype going into that match on Wednesday, and numbers are going to be good. And right now, they've lost no significant TV brand. The power teams have advanced, and most are advancing, so they've not lost a massive brand yet. Thursday, Cam Miller was on for his weekly football visit, and I asked Cam with the NBA draft finishing up, just the way now that the technology and scouting, it's hard to find diamonds in the rough. And in the NFL, like the NBA, do you have a pretty good idea about everybody early on?
It's really hard. It used to be the old adage, right, that if you play good, they'll find you, right? And now it's with what we have now at our disposal. I think the analytics era didn't diminish and take away steals altogether. So I'm in complete agreement here. It's significantly harder to find a steal, but also everybody has thousands of followers on Twitter or on any social media platform nowadays. And the evaluators are also at public with their evaluations for the most part too. And so we're seeing these kids. Gone are the days that Bill Belichick is scouting Eastern Illinois on a road trip and then pulling out someone like Kyle Duggar, who's going to turn into a Pro Bowler in his rookie season, because those players are moving up as well with the transfer portal. But also, the available information across all the platforms is significantly larger.
Yeah, again, I just think it's harder to get, like the Larry Allen of the world. It's impossible because he would not play at an NAIA school long. He would be quickly playing someplace else.
Well, and it makes me think about like undrafted free agents, because you expect, more scouting and everything. You'd expect more hits in the later rounds, the second round of the NBA, the undrafted free agents in the NBA, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks in the NFL, undrafted free agents in the NFL. You expect more hits with all the scouting, no?
Well, I'm not saying that there aren't cracks anymore. You say people slip through the cracks, but you know what's changed over the years? And I'm not picking, but he often uses this. Colin says, and he's wrong, that half the NFL is made of undrafted free agents. That's not true. It's never been that. Mm-hmm. The number was more like 20%. That's dropped. The number of undrafted free agents that make a roster and stay for 3 years has dropped because the scouting process has gotten better. But it's not a perfect science. It's just the way we start scouting these kids, and they are kids at a young age. You know a lot about them, right? That's the week in review.
Stud of the week.
So we saw the Mets just fire their manager after a horrible start, but
Carlos Mendoza's out, 3rd year.
Good Lord, what Dansby Swanson did to the Mets. They had a 4-game set. They had a doubleheader on Wednesday. And just in those 2 games alone, Swanson had 11 RBIs. But in the 4 games, he went 0 for yesterday. But in 4 games, he nearly outscored the Mets by himself. He had 15 RBIs. The Mets scored a total of 17 runs in those 4 games. The Cubs swept the 4-game set with the Mets, but 15 RBIs, and you nearly outscore your opponent by yourself. Dansby Swanson, former Brave, my stud of the week.
Okay, mine is a guy that married a Miss Universe. Pretty good start right there.
Yep.
Still married today.
Nice.
Won multiple championships in college, has won a championship at the pro level, is perceived, and Chris, sometimes we measure people by rings and all-time records and so forth, but there's something to be said that it's impossible to find anybody who has a negative thing to say about them. And sometimes that might be the ultimate career. Al Horford is signing a 2-year contract with the Golden State Warriors. He'll become the 13th player to sign a contract at the age of 40 and play 20 seasons. This will be his 20th year in the NBA, whether he plays a second year or not. He's made just over $300 million in his NBA career, so he's made a lot of money. And Al Horford has been respected every place that he's gone. Drafted by Atlanta, was with Boston, then the Sixers, Oklahoma City, went back to Boston, was there for 5 years, was in Golden State last year, will go back to Golden State this year. And even though it's not the same player, he still is productive for the role that he can give a team. Like I said, he married a Miss Universe. His dad played professionally. He's had an unbelievable career, and I don't know anybody that has anything negative to say about Horford, and we often don't do enough good guy stories. That's a good guy story.
Yeah.
It's not like, Al Horford, like, he's not going to play 40 minutes, but he's not going to embarrass you. And to do that 20 years, good for Al Horford.
I liked him in Philly. He wasn't the player that he was, but
nobody dislikes Al Horford.
No, not at all. You dislike playing against him,
right?
Because he was a solid player.
Yeah.
God of the week.
I mean, it's got to be obvious. Terry and Arnold. What are you doing, man? First round pick in 2024. You had a 4-year, $14.3 million contract, I believe, fully guaranteed. And what are we doing? 4 counts of armed robbery, 4 counts of kidnapping, and facing a maximum sentence, potentially, of life in prison. For what? For what? You have your whole life ahead of you. You have millions of dollars coming your way. And you want to throw it away? For what? What? And then Brandon Ayuk. I didn't want to do him 2 weeks in a row, but good Lord, dude, get off the damn phone. Stop posting to social media. What? Mark, what are we doing?
Chris is angry.
I don't get it.
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I have 2. I like tradition, and all good things come to an end. There may be very, very few people that know this theme that I'm going to play, and that's okay. Chris, that's the theme for Hockey Night in Canada, which began about 90 years ago in radio form. And Hockey Night in Canada was the CBC in the early days broadcasting Canadian teams on radio. And then Hockey Night in Canada became the TV version on CBC. And Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada was the biggest thing in the country. People would sit and watch, no matter who played, it was a massive must-watch in Canada. Well, TV contracts come and go, and the partnership that the CBC had to carry games now come to an end, and it's moving to a different media company in Canada. And for the most part, Hockey Night in Canada is ending. It will not be the theme that opens up Hockey Night coverage, the great memories of Foster Hewitt way, way back that would call games. And here's another piece of what Foster Hewitt was to Canadian hockey fans.
It's Hockey Night in Canada.
The first English language broadcast of Hockey Night in Canada took place on November 1st, 1952. The legendary Foster Hewitt was behind the microphone for a national audience.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States.
As the Boston Bruins faced the Toronto Maple Leafs in Maple Leaf Gardens. Toronto prevailed by a score of 3-2 on the day that an enduring Canadian institution was born.
So that's when it became Hockey Night in Canada. The origination of the broadcast dates back to the 30s. And it's true, folks in the Northeast and Midwest, and again, we're talking a pre-cable world, Chris, would tap into just the audio version. It was a big deal to listen to Hockey Night in Canada if you were in Detroit and in Buffalo and parts of Michigan and Minnesota. And Hockey Night in Canada now has come to an end, which is sad. The other comical dud of the week, it's to the rest of the world in food. I watch all of these I watch all of these Europeans come here and eat our fast food and our pub subs and our lobster rolls and everything, and they're just amazed at the quality and the portion size. What the hell's wrong with the rest of you in the world? Like, what's going on? Everybody comes here like, this is unbelievable. You know, it's the greatest tasting fried chicken. It's Popeyes, whatever. And the rest of the world's a big dough when it comes to food. Yeah.
I will say, I'll give Colombia a stud. Their steaks, oh man, their steaks are so good.
I'm not saying every country's bad, but like just to watch people like, you get all this, you get ice in your drinks, and wake up to the rest of the world.
Some places you don't get free refills, like at the soda
Well,
fountain.
that's happening here now in this country
That's
too.
ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, that's the week in review.
The weekend is coming, and we've already seen the script. From the locker room drama to the mind-boggling calls, we're giving you the weekend spoilers on a Friday. Here's what will we be talking about Monday.
Chris, on Monday, the NBA's legal tampering period begins, better known as every day in college sport. So I'll throw a couple things at you. By the way, kind of an interesting deal. Isaiah Joe's been dealt from Oklahoma City to Detroit. That's a guy that I know some Magic fans kind of wondered about as the Thunder got to figure out some decisions because of their payroll. Guy shot 43% from three last year. I think it's a really good addition for Detroit. Speaking of Detroit, I think you'll hear about a sign-in trades for Jalen Duren. I don't think he returns to Detroit. The question is, what's the market after the playoff run by him and how much he hurt himself? And then, mostly media-generated, you'll begin to hear about whispers of LeBron James and the Cavaliers and maybe the Heat, depending on how much he wants to take. Because I don't know if the Lakers are going to offer him the money that Rich Paul thinks LeBron James should be offered. That I think will become a little bit of a bigger story as the free agency tampering period begins. We'll also talk about, even though the U.S. doesn't play until Wednesday of next week, we'll talk about the round of 32 and see if any big name doesn't make, which is hard right now to look the way the bracket seems to be setting up. I don't think that will be happening much there. So that's a couple of things to keep an eye on. And I think, and he shot a great round yesterday. I don't know if he's teed off yet. I'm going to look right now. Yeah, Scheffler shot a 6 under 60. He shot, what did he shoot? 70 yesterday. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler's 6 under at the Travelers, and he's 3 shots back. I think the Chef is going to be in a good spot this weekend. Actually, a really good field up at the Travelers. So there you go. Let's talk to Kurt from Maxine's on Shine that we do on these Fridays. Good day, sir. How are you?
I am outstanding, Mark. Thank you kindly. A little sweaty, but good. Yes.
A little sweaty?
Yeah, sweaty. Yeah. You get, you kind of get just that little, it's good for the skin. I don't want to just say sweaty. It moisturizes the skin, but at the same time, it's really hot and, yeah. So just a little of that going on.
By the way, Chris, I don't know what day it was. I think it may have been Sunday. I'm out and about getting a little bit of jogging and run in, and this dude's texted me like, what was it, like 7:30 in the morning.
Nice.
Up and at him,
Yeah.
man. It was a big Father's Day brunch. I know that, man. So you were busy.
We were, brother. We were out there and we were getting some stuff done and getting things. That's right. We had to be in anticipation.
Yeah.
We knew the good people were coming at 10 o'clock. And and I was wondering, am I going to have my aisle number 4 meetup with you? But it was a little early for you on a Sunday. I know.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we got so much going on. We got Bite 30.
We do.
You got, and I don't know if enough people know about the happy hour you guys are doing and the weekend ahead. So I'll give you the floor. Tell everybody what they need to know.
You got it, my man. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Absolutely. Thank you so very much for everybody that's been coming out and joining us for Bite 30. You've only got a couple weeks left on this for everyone. And this is going to end for us on July the 10th, July 10th. So it's the 3-course meal for $38 a person, about a 25 to 30% savings off the menu. Hey, everyone, we know you got a lot of plans during the summertime. You got vacations, you got kids out of school, maybe watching the budget so you can do some other things, but you can't forget to take that quality time for you. And of course, one of the best ways to do it, have a great dinner with your loved one, your friends, and you got to come to the neighborhood where life is good and come on down to Maxine's on Shine. So we're giving you this meal. It's a 3-course meal there featuring some of our classic dishes. And then this is the time of the year that we like to try on for size a few new dishes. So you can give us a thumbs up, thumbs down if you think it should go in a possible rotation to hit our permanent menu a little bit later on in the year. So that's going on Wednesday night through Saturday night. Right now, the fresh catch for this evening is going to be cobia. Hey, anglers out there, you know what I'm talking about. Absolutely big, beautiful fish that we catch in our Florida waters. Kind of, like a nickname. It's kind of like the torpedo of the sea. Man, this thing is a beautiful, muscular fish. Has a really nice, mild, buttery flavor to it when you put that in you pan sear that bad boy. Got a firm and flaky texture. We're going to ladle over top of that. We're going to take some lemons, little white wine, little capers, little touch of saltiness to kind of make the whole thing pop a little bit. Really, really gorgeous cut of fish. Going to be a sweet potato mash with that. We got French green beans and carrots that are going with that as well. So that is our fresh catch. Absolutely beautiful. Of course, don't forget about that Wagyu filet of sirloin, that 8-ounce cut of steak with a peppercorn sauce ladled right over the top of it. Come on with our chive mashed potatoes. Glorious way to get going. The conch chowder there. All kinds of great selections for you to pick out on that Bite 30 menu. Again, Wednesday through Saturday nights, going for us until July 10th. Another thing I want to let everybody know about, and Mark, you did mention it, our fantastic 5 for 5. Look, maybe you don't have time for dinner, but you need to catch up with a friend or two after work. Come on down Wednesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 6:30 and all day on Friday. Because if you're busting out early for the weekend, you ain't going to lunch. You're coming to have brunch with us. So we're going to reward you with that decision with happy hour from 10 a.m. until 6:30. We got 5 items for $5 on there, including Amsterdam vodka, all of our drafts, our famous sangria, mimosas, Bloody Marys, house wine in there. And along the way, don't forget, we got our $30 wine lovers board and a bottle of wine too. So if you want to nosh a little, got you covered. Mark, of course, we got the big one coming up very soon, July 4th. And that is not only America's birthday, but my brother, a lot of y'all know, it's my wife Maxine's birthday. So July 4th, we are going to bring back for her favorite kind of menu. It is a Brinner. What's Brinner? Well, that's breakfast for dinner. So all day, we're going to be open from 11 o'clock until 7 o'clock, 11 a.m. in the morning till 7 at night. We're going to offer our favorite brunch items, some dinner items, and we're going to have that barbecue platter, Stanley style, $29.99, barbecue platter with a beer for $29.99. Live music in the morning with Johnny Diggs. He's going to bring you that kind of dueling piano feel. And then in the afternoon, the blues of Big Daddy Ron Betts. Big Ron Betts is back in the house, y'all. He's going to be performing from 3 to 6. Johnny Diggs in the morning, 11 to 2. We're going to be open until 7 o'clock. You know you're probably going to Lake Eola for the fireworks anyways. So take all that craziness of doing the picnic stuff out. Come and have a meal with us. Get barbecue with us. Say hello to Maxine. Celebrate her birthday with us. And while we're there, we're going to tell you, don't forget about Bad Santa and the Angry Elves, exiled from the North Pole, the only United States show before they go to Scotland to do this at the Fringe. It's going to be on Friday, July 17th. And beam me up, babe. Female alien meets a cowboy love story. Roxy's back. July 31st for a supper club. All that and much, much more. Go online to Maxine'sOnShine.com. Right there on the homepage, you can click on the Book a Table tab, look for the times and tables that are available, check out our menus, entertainment lineups, all that kind of stuff. We want to see you very soon. Thank you for supporting the little restaurant that would, and everyone have a stellar weekend.
Thank you, my friend. Miss any of that, go to Maxine'sOnShine.com. Back to put a wrap of the week next.
Time for the latest news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
After the U.S. was locked in for a match in Santa Clara, the get-in prices quickly jumped. It's over $3,000 to get in for the round of 32 match next week.
Just make it so ridiculously expensive.
Well, as much as I want to pick on FIFA, that's a secondary market. That's not FIFA. I mean, the ticket's expensive to begin with, but that's the secondary market. Anyway, big weekend, Chris?
Going out for lunch after the show here with my wife and a friend of ours.
Okay, nice.
I'll be bartending at Bowegan's Avalon Park Saturday,
All right.
bartending Bowegan's Castleberry in the newly renovated Castleberry spot with a new kitchen on Sunday.
All right, goodbye. See you, Chris. Say hi. Always end the week telling you do something kind for someone who doesn't expect it. They'll appreciate it. You'll feel good about yourself, and it is easy to be kind. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday for the Beat of Sports.